Part 1. Sweet Rice Balls and Riddles.
Introduction, the finale of New Year.
Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Me Too English Club. This is the place where we break down language barriers and make learning English feel like a breeze. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm Paul. Hello to all our lovely listeners out there. Hey, Emily, can I ask you something? I was walking around the city last night, and the streets here in Taiwan are still so incredibly beautiful. There are glowing decorations, red structures, and beautiful lights everywhere. Wait a minute. Is it still Chinese New Year? Did I lose track of time?
Don't worry, Paul. Your calendar isn't broken. Today is actually the Lantern Festival. In our culture, this day marks the very first full moon of the new lunar year. You can think of it as the grand finale of the entire Lunar New Year celebration period. The party isn't over until the lanterns are lit.
Ah, the grand finale. That's a great phrase. It means the final, most exciting part of a show or a celebration. But I had a bit of a linguistic crisis yesterday. I was trying to explain this specific date to my next-door neighbor who just moved here from America. I wanted to say 农历1月15号, but my brain just froze. I couldn't find the right words.
Oh, that is a classic stumble for English learners. When we want to talk about Nongli, we use the term lunar calendar. Let's practice this together because the pronunciation can be a bit tricky. Repeat after me. Lunar calendar.
Lunar calendar. Okay, I see. Lunar means relating to the moon. So if I want to put it all together, I should say the Lantern Festival falls on the 15th day of the first month of the lunar calendar. Is that correct?
Spot on, you nailed it. And because this festival strictly follows the cycles of the moon, its date on the Western calendar, which we call the Gregorian calendar, changes every single year. Sometimes it's in February, sometimes in March.
That makes so much sense. So what's on the menu for today's episode, Emily?
Well, in this first part of our special feature, we are going to dive deep into two major traditions, the delicious food we eat with our families and the clever riddles we solve at the temples.
Oh, you know me too well, Emily. You had me at food. Let's stop talking and get straight into the kitchen.
Food, the meaning of the round shape. All right, let's talk about the star of the show today. On the Lantern Festival, tradition dictates that we eat delicious sweet rice balls. Now, depending on where you are or how they are made, some people call them Tangyuan and others call them yuanxiao.
Oh man, that reminds me of another funny mistake I made. I told my foreign friend last week that we eat rice balls during this festival. He looked at me with a very confused face and asked if we put pork floss, eggs, and pickled vegetables inside them. He thought I was talking about a salty breakfast fantuan.
That is hilarious. Yes, if you just say rice balls, an English speaker will likely picture a savory, salty dish, or maybe a Japanese onigiri. To avoid this misunderstanding, you need to be very specific. We should call them sweet glutinous rice balls.
Whoa, hold on a second. That is a mouthful. Let me spell that middle word out. Glutinous. Glutinous. Emily, that sounds like a very advanced vocabulary word. What does it actually mean? Does it have something to do with gluten?
That's a very common misconception. Despite how it sounds, glutinous does not mean it contains gluten. It actually just means sticky or glue-like. It describes the scientific property of this special type of rice when it is cooked. It becomes very sticky and holds its shape perfectly. Let's practice the full term together, speaker two. Sweet glutinous rice balls.
Sweet glutinous rice balls. Wow, I feel fancier just saying it. Now, how do I describe the texture? In Taiwanese, we always say these rice balls are super Q or QQ. How do I translate Q into natural English?
Take note, everyone. English speakers absolutely do not use the letter Q to describe food texture. If you tell an American, this food is very Q, they will have no idea what you mean. Instead, the perfect English equivalent is chewy. Let's practice. Chewy.
Chewy.
Oh, like the pearls in bubble tea or like gummy bears. They are all chewy.
Exactly, perfect examples. Now, beyond the taste and the texture, the physical round shape of these sweet rice balls carries a heavy cultural significance. In Chinese culture, the roundness symbolizes togetherness or family unity.
Language note. Togetherness translates directly to 团圆 in this context. It describes the warm, fuzzy feeling when the entire family gathers around the table, safe, healthy, and happy.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Paul. Eating something round under a full moon is the ultimate symbol of a complete, harmonious family life.
Activities. Carrying lanterns and solving riddles.
Once dinner is finished and everyone's bellies are full of chewy rice balls, the outdoor festivities begin. People head outside and you'll see crowds of children proudly carrying lanterns.
I love that sight. Carry lanterns. You know, when I was a kid, we used traditional paper lanterns with real candles inside, which was actually a bit dangerous because they caught fire easily. But nowadays, kids carry these amazing modern lanterns shaped like popular cartoon characters or the zodiac animal of the year. Plus, they all use safe LED lights now.
Progress is wonderful, isn't it? No more burnt fingers. Now, while the kids are playing with their glowing toys, the adults often gather at local temples for a huge intellectual challenge, solving lantern riddles.
Oh, don't remind me. Lantern riddles. I remember trying to translate a classic Chinese wordplay riddle directly into English for my friend once. It was a complete disaster. The joke completely disappeared in translation because English and Chinese structures are so different.
You're absolutely right, Paul. Direct translation of cultural wordplay is a trap. For beginner or intermediate English learners, my biggest advice is don't try to translate the specific riddle. Instead, just explain the concept of the game. You can use this simple formula. We solve puzzles hanging on the lanterns, and if we get the correct answer, we win prizes.
Wow, let me repeat that. We solve puzzles on the lanterns to win prizes. That is so much cleaner and easier to understand. My friend would have understood that instantly.
Keep it simple. Now, let's look at the word vocabulary itself. A riddle is defined as a clever, mysterious question or a word puzzle that requires thought to solve. Let's practice it. Riddle.
Riddle. So the full activity is called solving lantern riddles. I'm definitely going to try winning some prizes this year.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, speaking practice. We have prepared a list of highly practical, natural sentences that you can use immediately when talking to your foreign colleagues, friends, or neighbors. Paul is going to read each sentence clearly, and I want all our listeners at home to repeat right after him. Ready, Paul?
I'm born ready. Let's do this, listeners. Speak out loud with me. Sentence 1. Happy Lantern Festival. Wish you a wonderful year ahead. Sentence 2. According to tradition, we eat sweet rice balls today. Sentence 3. Be careful, the rice balls are very chewy, hot, and sweet. Sentence 4. In our culture, the round shape of the food symbolizes family togetherness. Sentence 5. The weather is perfect tonight. Do you want to go see the lantern show with me? Sentence 6. Look at those puzzles. Let's try to solve some riddles and win a prize.
Incredible job, Paul, and spectacular effort to everyone practicing at home. I want to highlight one quick pronunciation tip. When Paul said the word togetherness, did you notice his tongue position? Make sure you don't pronounce it like a D or a Z. You need to stick your tongue out slightly between your teeth for that th sound. Let's try it one more time. Togetherness.
Togetherness. Practice makes perfect.
Part 1 Conclusion.
Whew, all this talk of sweet, chewy, glutinous rice balls has made my stomach growl. I think I'm definitely ready for some dessert right now. But Emily, before we take a break, I've heard rumors that the Lantern Festival isn't just about quiet family dinners and cute paper lanterns. I heard there are some absolutely crazy and wild events happening in other parts of Taiwan tonight.
Oh, you heard correctly, Paul. If you think this festival is only peaceful and quiet, you are in for a massive surprise. Are you referring to the massive walls of fireworks and the floating lights in the sky?
Yes, exactly. I saw videos of people wearing full motorcycle helmets just to stand near the fireworks, and thousands of glowing lights floating into the clouds. It looks a little bit dangerous, to be honest, but incredibly exciting.
It is an absolute spectacle. Those are the world-famous sky lanterns in Pingxi and the legendary Beehive Fireworks in Yanshui. We're going to explore all of them along with the fascinating ancient myths behind them in just a moment.
Oh, I can't wait. We're also going to talk about that ancient legend involving a heavenly bird and an angry emperor, right?
Yes, the mythological roots of the festival. Take a short break, grab a glass of water, stretch your legs, and we will be right back for part 2. Don't go away. Part 2, Legends, Sky Lanterns, and Fireworks.
Legend, the bird and the fire.
Welcome back to part 2 of our Lantern Festival special on Me Too English Club. We hope you enjoyed your short break. Now, Paul, before the break, you mentioned a myth. Do you actually know the ancient story behind why we light up the night sky on this specific day?
Well, I know bits and pieces of it. I remember my grandmother telling me a story when I was a little boy about a beautiful, sacred, heavenly bird that accidentally got lost.
That is precisely how the story begins. Long, long ago, a magnificent bird belonging to the Jade Emperor, the King of Heaven, flew down to Earth to enjoy the scenery. Unfortunately, a group of village hunters didn't realize the bird was sacred, and they killed it by mistake.
Oh no, that's a huge mistake. The Jade Emperor must have been absolutely furious when he found out, right?
He was livid. In his anger, he ordered his heavenly army to completely burn down the entire village as punishment, scheduling the destruction on the 15th day of the first lunar month.
Wow, talk about an overreaction. But the villagers found a way out, didn't they? They were pretty clever.
They were incredibly resourceful. A wise man from another village suggested a trick. To make the village look like it was already burning, they ordered everyone to hang bright red lanterns outside their houses, light massive bonfires in the streets, and constantly set off firecrackers.
Ah, so when the Jade Emperor's army looked down from the heavens, they saw a massive red glow and heard loud explosions. They thought, oh, look, the village is already completely on fire, so they turned around and left them alone.
Exactly. The village was saved. Ever since that day, lighting lanterns has represented safety, survival, and human wisdom. Now, let's look at that word you used, Speaker 2, firecrackers.
爆竹or 鞭炮. Unlike regular fireworks that create beautiful colors in the sky, firecrackers are designed specifically to make a rapid succession of loud, cracking noises. Traditionally, people use them to scare away evil spirits and bad luck.
Flying high, Pingxi sky lanterns. Moving from ancient legends to modern-day spectacles, let's talk about geography. If you are in Taiwan during this festival, one of the most iconic bucket list places to visit is a small mountain town called Pingxi.
Oh, I've been there. It's world famous for the sky lanterns. My favorite part of the experience is standing right on the old railroad tracks, holding a giant brush and painting my goals directly onto the paper lantern.
Yes, it's a beautiful ritual. People write their deepest desires, hopes, and prayers onto the paper surfaces. In English, we describe this action as to write a wish. Let's practice. Write a wish.
Write a wish.
I'm usually not very creative, Emily. I always write very practical things like, I want to become incredibly rich, or I want a big promotion, or I want my whole family to stay healthy. What do you usually write?
I usually just wish for peace of mind and, of course, that our listeners improve their English. Now, once the ink dries and the fuel cake inside is lit, people release the lanterns into the sky. The word release simply means to let go of something or to set it free.
Release the sky lanterns. When hundreds of people release them at the exact same moment, it is breathtaking. It genuinely looks like a magical sea of glowing stars floating slowly into the night sky.
It truly is a poetic sight. However, Paul, we have to look at both sides of the coin. Many of my foreign friends and tourists frequently raise questions about the environmental impact. What happens to all that paper and metal wire when they eventually fall back down to the forests and mountains?
That is an incredibly valid and important point. Fortunately, local communities have worked hard to fix this. Nowadays, many shops offer specially designed eco-friendly lanterns. These are made entirely of biodegradable paper and bamboo frames that burn away completely in midair, leaving zero trash behind.
Eco-friendly. This is a crucial vocabulary word in the modern world. It combines ecology and friendly, meaning it does no harm to our planet. Let's practice. Eco-friendly.
The Beehive Fireworks.
Now, let's leave the peaceful mountains of northern Taiwan and head down south to a town called Yanshui in Tainan. This place hosts an event that is the exact opposite of peaceful.
Oh boy, you're talking about the infamous Yanshui Beehive Fireworks. I went once and let me tell you, it was one of the most intense experiences of my life. It is incredibly loud, smoky, and honestly quite terrifying.
It's certainly not for the faint of heart. For our listeners who don't know, we call them Beehive Fireworks because thousands of rocket-style firecrackers are stacked together in a massive wooden structure. When ignited, they shoot out in every single direction, sounding exactly like a swarm of thousands of angry bees escaping a hive.
It is wild, but Emily, a lot of outsiders look at this and think, why on earth would anyone willingly stand in front of shooting rockets? It looks so dangerous. What is the cultural reason behind this?
The core reason is a deep-rooted belief in attracting good luck. Historically, Yanshui suffered from a terrible plague in the late 19th century. The citizens invited the gods to parade through the streets while setting off massive amounts of firecrackers to purify the area. The plague miraculously stopped. Today, people believe that getting hit by these fireworks will literally burn away your misfortunes.
Ah, so it's a way to get rid of bad luck. To get rid of means to eliminate or destroy something unwanted. But listeners, if you want to experience this, safety is your absolute #1 priority. You cannot just wear a t-shirt. You must wear a full-face helmet, a thick fire-retardant jacket, heavy gloves, and a towel wrapped around your neck to prevent sparks from getting inside.
Absolutely. Safety first, culture second. Let's practice a key sentence to describe this event. The Beehive Fireworks are believed to get rid of bad luck.
The Beehive Fireworks are believed to get rid of bad luck.
Cultural tips. How to answer why.
You know, Emily, whenever I hang out with foreigners or international travelers, they are naturally very curious. They constantly ask why about every single detail of our Taiwanese traditions. Sometimes I get overwhelmed trying to formulate long, complicated grammatical explanations.
That's a great observation. Foreigners ask questions not to test your English, but because they are genuinely fascinated. As an A1 or A2 English learner, you do not need to construct perfect, complex essays on the spot. Short, simple, and direct answers are actually much better and easier to understand. Let's do a quick role play to show our listeners how easy it can be. Paul, you ask me why, and I will give you the simplified English answer.
Perfect. Let's try it. Question 1. Why do Taiwanese people eat round, sweet rice balls tonight?
Because the round shape represents family togetherness and unity.
Simple. Let's do another one. Question 2. Why do people light up thousands of lanterns outside?
To guide the way, bring hope, and pray for good fortune in the new year.
Wow, concise and clear. Last one. Why do people set off such incredibly noisy firecrackers in the streets?
To frighten away evil spirits, scare away bad luck, and welcome a fresh start. See? Notice how I didn't use any complicated grammar structures. Just focus on key words like togetherness, hope, and good fortune. Simple words are always the most powerful tools for communication.
Final practice, the whole journey.
We are approaching the end of today's comprehensive guide. To lock in everything we've covered in part 2, let's do our final round of speaking practice. Just like before, listen carefully to Paul's pacing and intonation and repeat clearly after him. Take it away, Paul.
All right, let's finish strong, everyone. Repeat after me. Sentence 1. Many people write their heartfelt wishes on sky lanterns. Sentence 2. It is a magical moment when they release the lanterns into the night sky. Sentence 3. If you love adrenaline, the Beehive Fireworks are incredibly exciting. Sentence 4. Local citizens believe the loud noises can successfully get rid of bad luck. Sentence 5. At its core, the Lantern Festival is a beautiful celebration of hope, light, and family. Sentence 6. I have 2 extra tickets. Let's go check out the massive Lantern Festival show tonight.
Fantastic pronunciation, Paul. I love the energy. You all did an incredible job today. Conclusion and outro. Well, time flies when you're having fun. We have officially reached the conclusion of our Lantern Festival special here at Me Too English Club.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today. Let's do a quick vocabulary review for our notebooks.
农历 lunar calendar.
有嚼劲的 chewy.
糯米的粘性的 glutinous.
团圆 community.
环保的 eco-friendly.
驱除厄运 get rid of bad luck.
That is a fantastic vocabulary list to master. But remember, beyond all the fancy words, the absolute most beautiful part of any traditional festival is the warmth of spending time with the people you love.
Well said, Emily. Now, if you'll excuse me, my sweet glutinous rice balls are waiting for me, and they aren't going to eat themselves. To all our fantastic listeners out there, we have a question for you. Which style of celebration do you prefer? Do you prefer a peaceful night releasing sky lanterns in Pingxi, or the wild, high-energy adrenaline rush of the Yanshui Beehive Fireworks?
We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, so please leave your answers in the comments section below. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Keep practicing your English, stay curious, and we will see you next time on Me Too English Club.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy Lantern Festival.
Bye-bye.